Ladies and gentlemen, you are here. This is the big one, the No Name Cinema Society. It's our year-end special. It's officially our 25th episode, 25th time we did this, and it's our year anniversary. Super exciting, and as you can see, we're starting our year anniversary with the top 10 of 2015. I am one of your hosts, Jonathan Betzler, here with you tonight for this very, very special night that we put a lot of effort into. This is the big one as far as we're concerned. We've got a big night for you, starting with our top 10 in mere seconds. We're going to get into our top 10s of 2015. At 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, we do our Oscar preview where we specifically look at some of the individual categories. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, we sort of talk to our classic fans out there doing a retrospective of the Oscar races of 25 years ago, 1990. You can see the Awakenings behind me, one of the films from 1990 that we might talk about a little later tonight. So that's our schedule. Let me introduce my host, the handsome and loquacious J Money. Welcome back, J Money. You excited?
I'm excited. It's time. It's time to get into it.
Oh my gosh, it is so time. And of course, as our viewers describe, our hot frat boy person, the monosyllabic David Joseph. How are you doing, David?
Good.
You believe we got here? It's a full year, the top 10. It's unbelievable.
I believe it. I believe it.
Long delay between Davy Joe's responses, or that he just is not sure if he wants to respond. So I sent these. We compiled a list of like as many movies as we could find from 2015. I came up with a full list of 149. Davy Joe, how much did you wind up watching after it was all said and done?
You know, I don't have a count on it, but I'm at least 100.
Ballpark. You're past 100.
Yeah.
J Money.
I didn't hit 100. Probably around 60-ish.
All right, I'm in second place, I guess, with 94 movies, but it'll be a good cross section. Certainly more. It's more than 50% for almost all of us. I do have this fun little thing where I've taken guesses as to what each of these guys their number one is going to be. So we'll see at the end of the night, if I'm right or wrong, or not at the end of the night, at the end of this particular broadcast. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes. And so, I mean, my disclaimer as far as my top 10 is concerned is, for me, the litmus test is emotional engagement first. If I feel like I'm emotionally engaged, then I go back and try and understand what the filmmaker did to make me emotionally engaged, or cerebrally engaged in some cases, and we'll talk about that on a case-by-case basis. Do you guys have any sort of overarching statements you want to make about your top 10s?
Yeah, sure. It's funny, as we were doing this, I was thinking about it as well. I guess what I decided is that the things that stick with me really fall into two different kinds of camps. They're either sort of bleak and sort of brooding, or they're bizarre and ridiculous. So those are the things that I end up remembering at the end of the year.
Okay, well, good to know. Davy Joe, do you have anything?
Yeah, I basically I think that this list can be hard to make for two different reasons. One, I think it can be hard to make because there's just not 10 movies that you really liked, and then there could be too many. There could be just a lot that you really liked, and I really liked a lot of movies this year, so this is a lot of fun, and it was hard.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, and it's time to start, and we're actually starting slightly ahead of schedule, so hopefully we can keep that going. Number 10 is first. Davy Joe, it is on you. Tell me, what is your number 10 movie?
Buzzard. Buzzard is number 10.
Okay.
All right, so this is a movie that was written and directed by Joel Petrakis, and the lead was played by Joshua Burge, and he is a guy that he's kind of like a con man, a little young con man, and through a lot of contradictions. He's kind of, you root for him, you hate him. He's evil. He's kind of smart, but he's stupid. And anyway,
what did you like about it?
I just thought this was such a complex character, and I thought Burge's portrayal was just fantastic. So
is this the right guy that I've got up here in this picture?
That is absolutely it.
Cool. And so his complex character. Anything else?
I mean that's basically it. I'm probably going to talk about him a little later. So
a lot more about Buzzard.
About that particular character. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Little foreshadowing.
Money, number 10.
My number 10 is a film called White God. I'll give you a second. It's a Hungarian film from a director named, and I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, Cornel Mundruczó, perhaps. It stars a young actress named Zosha Solter playing the lead character Lily, and a veteran actor named Sander Zolter, I believe, doing her father. It's a story that is sort of a coming-of-age story about a girl who's dealing with a difficult point in her life with her father, who's a little bit grouchy and distant, who kicks out her one true friend in her coming-of-age process, which is her dog. And the story itself follows two different kinds of narratives. It's about her process of dealing with that, and it's about the dog dealing with the process of being abandoned and going through, figuring out what it wants out of life, basically. And it's very interesting because in a lot of ways, it's an animal movie, in the style of Benji, perhaps, but it's actually a very serious and realistic look at animals, and it's actually very expressive in a way that's much more, I think, than you would expect. It's not all cute or trite. And it has a pretty weird allegorical sort of setup with, a fight for power, basically. So it was just a charming little movie. It's certainly not perfect. It's a little rough around the edges. It's definitely very low budget, but it's something that stuck with me.
All right. I'd heard about the movie at Cannes, and I wasn't at Cannes, but I had heard about the movie and wasn't. It was one that I was like, oh, I really don't want to see that one, but I had a feeling it would be on your top 10. And Davey, you have anything on White God?
I have not seen White God.
All right. See, and Davey and I saw the most, so for us to, we probably, out of the 149 movies, we probably covered them all between us. We probably watched the only 21 movies that we probably all watched were the ones we had reviewed for this show. We okay to move on to my number 10, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm more of a mainstream guy here, I guess. I'll represent that world. I've got Carol, number 10. I struggle with number 10 the most, I would say. My 1 through 9 I feel really, really good about. My number 10 I was going back and forth with a lot. It probably changed 3 or 4 times because I had a lot of movies that I thought were flawless, but I didn't have the emotional impact, or movies that I really enjoyed but were heavily flawed. And I went with Carol because I think it's kind of flawless. Like it didn't have some emotional impact for me at some of the other ones, but still very romantic. I was hoping for another Far From Heaven, and I got Far From Heaven Light. Let's just say it's lush, it's emotional, it's well crafted, with a very impactful conclusion. You guys have anything on Carol?
I also really enjoyed Carol. I'll probably end up talking about it a little bit more later.
Okay.
I like the movie very much.
All right. So, I pulled up another photo. So let's look at this photo while I pull up.
Look at that photo. Wow.
I was anticipating more from that one, so I apologize. Okay, cool. Let me get ready. You guys ready for number 9?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Moving right along. We are right on schedule now. So number 9 is up. J Money, it's you. What do you got?
My number 9 is The Clouds of Sils Maria, a movie by Olivier Oliver. I'm not sure which one it is.
Olivier Assayas.
Olivier, thank you. Okay, starring Juliette Binoche, Kristen Stewart, and among other people. But I think that really it goes to it's really about the relationship between Juliette Binoche and Kristen Stewart, both in terms of their relationship on camera with their characters, but also the relationship just as the actors working together, which is what made the film for me. I just found their charisma together, the way that they approached, I guess, their roles together, but also the fact the movie is as much about the story as it is about their characters also playing these characters, which is a little clouded to say, but just overall for me, it was the performances that made this rise to the top for me and included on the list.
It came up. It was last night we had people over at my house. We had a round table of the films of 2015, and this was one of the films. We didn't talk about too many films, but we got in depth about this one. It's described as a modern day All About Eve with a twist.
I
thought that was really interesting.
It's great.
I actually missed it. I didn't actually. This is another one I haven't seen. I guess I'm not surprised. I know Davey Joe saw it though.
I did see it, and I'm going to talk about it soon.
Okay. Number 9.
Number 9.
You, David.
I don't think anyone's going to believe this, so I'm going to hold the. I don't know if you can read this. It is actually Clouds of Sils Maria.
Yes.
Simpatico.
Simpatico.
Just to build off of what you said, Kristen Stewart, fantastic performance by Kristen Stewart, and I love. I won't get into it obviously, but I love the ending to this movie.
Yeah.
It was just really, really interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we can let it go there. I know that JB hasn't seen it, so.
Well, I definitely encourage it. I mean, honestly, we were saying with Kristen Stewart, this is the movie that made me suddenly respect Kristen Stewart, because up until this point, I'd kind of rolled my eyes a little bit at her. But she is phenomenal in this film, and they're both phenomenal together on screen. It's just a delight to watch them both do their work. So.
And you know what? Chloe Grace Moretz, also.
Also an enjoyable turn.
Yeah. So.
I mean, everybody is so perfectly cast in this movie for the reasons that they're in the movie. You know, it's a movie about a show, but it's also about their lives ultimately. So.
All right, you guys good?
Yep.
Moving right along. My number 9 is a Colombian film. It's called Manos Sucias. And I don't know if these guys have watched this one, but it's more my type of filmmaking, very naturalistic, as opposed to maybe White Guy, which might be a little more allegorical in nature. Natural, but it's still exciting. Manages to have a lot of depth. And it's not so much. It's these guys are drug runners, young drug runners, but it's not so much about drugs as it's about poverty and race. The guy in the back there is Harlan Martinez. He gives an amazing performance, very a surprising performance, and it's extremely well directed, especially in the final act. I saw it as part of the Independent Spirit Awards screenings, so it is a possible indie spotlight down the line, either later this year or maybe in 5 years, as the case may be. I don't suppose either of you kids saw this movie.
I haven't.
I didn't get a chance to. No. It was on my list of seeing though.
Damn.
I mean, you mean of the 149?
Yeah. Well, just in general.
All right, moving right along. You guys ready?
Yep.
Number 8. And we're still right on schedule. And Davey gets to go first.
Number 8 is Hateful Eight. And
you did that on purpose.
I believe me, I did not. I mean, I'm a sucker for Quentin Tarantino. I thought this was a little bit different than what he usually puts out. Obviously, the dialogue was great in an ensemble cast, and Walter Goggins, I thought, really kind of broke out in this film. Just a lot of fun for me. I enjoyed the road show. I saw the long version.
You saw the 70mm version?
Yeah, and I hope they release that. I think it's got an extra like 5 minutes. Anyway, I like the movie a lot, and I liked the fact that it's kind of a mystery, but it's also got some action, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I personally think it's okay. I mean, like, I for one am not a sucker. I mean, like, I enjoyed Tarantino over the years, but I did not necessarily. The shtick starts to get tired for me, and I appreciate the 70mm, but beyond that, I wasn't as engaged. J Money.
I will admit right now, there are 2 movies I did not see for the Oscars, and the one is this. The other one's Creed. Not because I didn't try, but simply I couldn't get my hands on them in time for the show, unfortunately. So.
Okay, so you did not see The Hateful Eight.
I cannot answer about this one. So.
All right. So why don't you segue straight into your number?
My number 8.
We're on number 8, right?
Yep. My number 8 is a movie called Dope. Going back to something that JB just talked about in terms of, showing youth and minority and drug use. Dope is a movie that takes place in sort of a ghetto area in LA called The Bottoms. It stars Shamik Moore as the title character Malcolm. Kersey Clemens as his friend Diggy, and Tony Revolori, Jib, who is the
Revolori from Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And this is a movie that actually caught me by surprise in a lot of ways. I wasn't expecting to like it nearly as much as I did. It was a lot more fun than I expected, and I think that's why it stuck out. It's a movie that we're not used to seeing in terms of the way it talked about a narrative about urban youth in bad situations, about especially about minorities in these situations, especially about drug use in these situations. It certainly has something to say, but it's not necessarily preachy. It doesn't get really heavy-handed with symbolism. It's a little light on its feet, and it's just a lot of fun at the end of the day. So that made my number 8.
I agree that it was fun. I had some issue with structure, and you know how I feel about voiceover. You know, like as soon as it started, it's an automatic it hurts my soul. And they used it as a crutch. They did not use it well in this movie. Like they told you what they wanted you to think and feel instead of showing you with the camera. And that was a big minus for me. It had some fun stuff, but it was a little too style. I think it's a good movie. I just don't think it's a great movie. I just watched it the other day, so it's fresh in my mind. Yeah. Do you see Dope, Davie?
I did see Dope. Yeah, I kind of I liked it, but I kind of agree with you, JB. I think I thought the end when he was kind of reading his essay. I don't know. It was a little bit. A little bit.
I agree that was a little heavy-handed, certainly by the end of it, but the rest of the movie was not destroyed for that because of that.
I'll give you that.
All right, I'm going to move on because we got to hurry. And this is the one. This used to be a little higher, but I chickened out. And this is the one that's going to get the groans. But I mean, honestly, it's the most fun I had in a movie this year. And it's called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And I don't see why it wasn't a hit. It's interesting. I feel like over this year, the 70s are getting a lot of attention and reboots and things like that. And maybe because this is a 60s property, people didn't care anymore. But it's sharply written. I think superbly directed from a director I hadn't really respected before. And it's got spot-on performances, and even the It Girl, the moment there you can see Alicia Vikander. The editing is terrific. The action is outstanding. I had some other photos I want to show you, but I don't have time. I felt its light, tongue-in-cheek tone. And I felt like, because, like you said, Dope, it was light on its feet, I didn't necessarily feel like it should preclude it from this list because I was engrossed and giddy watching it. Gentlemen.
I feel like I need to give this one another shot. I did not enjoy it the first time around, but I've been hearing a lot of people kind of come to its defense, so I'm willing to give it another shot.
It's funny because and the camera's on you, J Money, now while I do stuff, but I don't suppose you saw it, J Money.
I didn't actually, although, to be fair, I actually like Guy Ritchie as much as you might not necessarily like him. And I would see this. I will see this probably at some point. It just wasn't high on my priority list to figure out what I wanted to see right now.
Yeah, my expectations were low, and I was, it's one of those surprises of the year, which is probably why I felt like it could crack the top 10. I'm going to move on to number 7. And J Money's going to be first up for number 7. We're a little late, guys, so we got to tighten it up. J Money, take it away.
Number 7 is a movie we probably don't have to say too much about. It is Mad Max. Sorry, JB. Mad Max made my top 10. But it came in at number 7.
Yeah.
Directed by George Miller, Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron. We know all about it at this point. It's a big blockbuster. It's the kind of movie you like or you don't like, I think, ultimately. It's like either you were on board for the kind of whatever it was doing or it just wasn't enough. I've certainly heard plenty of criticism since it came out, as much as it was popular. I was just already sold into the world to begin with, and I was definitely on board for this one.
Yeah, we saw it together, actually.
Yeah, I like the movie a lot, and we can save some time here. So.
Yeah. Well, yes and no, because I need to get the photo. So, Dave, you can go straight into your number 7.
My number 7 is It Follows.
It Follows.
Yeah, I really liked the movie a lot. It was engaging. It was scary. I mean, there aren't a lot of movies that actually scare me. I thought the music was incredible. I thought it was really nice, just nicely done, nicely made. So yeah, I'll let it go there.
See, now I really liked It Follows too, but it didn't scare me at all, and I think that's why it doesn't necessarily fall on my list for me. It would be a runner-up for me.
Okay, you know what? There's a pace to it. It's you kind of see things unfold sort of slowly, and I think that just really bothered me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what got me.
I think I thought it was more conceptually interesting than it was actually executed. I think that it was like a better idea almost in a way than it was when it actually came together. I still thought it was very interesting and unique for the category. It certainly is something that you don't really normally see in that genre, and it's noteworthy, certainly.
Okay, you guys good?
Yeah.
I didn't see It Follows. Obviously, I have a real hard time watching the horror movies. So I was never going to watch It Follows. I was just gonna let you guys.
You could give it a try, Jamie. It's a very light horror. You could give it a try.
Although I do love Micah Monroe, I'm really considering her for a project coming up. I'm a big fan of hers, but I'm going to move on to my number 7, and here's what we got. I'm going with Inside Out. I had a feeling this movie was more hype than substance, but it definitely won me over. In my script, I spelled one O-N-E for some reason. I thought the concept looked silly during the trailers. I thought the trailers actually weren't very good, but the script was outstanding. It made it work. Talk about emotional engagement. I get choked up fairly frequently, but this is no exception. In addition to being emotional, it was also hilarious. It's inventive and intelligent in what could be a rare 6-quadrant movie. Gentlemen, I need you to talk about this movie for about 60 seconds.
I think you're right. I think the trailers were horrendous, and the movie is excellent.
Okay, that was not 60 seconds.
Well, I wanted to give J Money a chance here.
All right, I'm going to prove that I am a heartless bastard. I honestly really did not like Inside Out at all.
Okay, and you were really looking forward to it. Can you give me a 30-second reason why?
I think I just didn't connect with it on the emotional level that you're talking about. And I understand a lot of people did. I understand that it's really about me in this situation, and maybe it's just a movie that I wouldn't be able to connect with in general. But I found it incredibly trite. I found some of the ways that it explained things to be a little bit ridiculous and naive. It just did not land for me whatsoever. I mean, I'm just not the right person for this movie.
I didn't think I was either. I mean, I was expecting all those things you said. That was my mindset going in. And I felt like it was surprising. I mean, we saw it in June, so we probably have to rewatch it to break down why. So we won't get into that. But that's fascinating that we wound up on other sides of this. All right, let's move on to number 6. We are 1 minute behind, so let's keep going here. Davey, what do you got? Need a name first.
Spotlight.
Spotlight. Okay. Tell me why.
I like the look and feel of this movie. I thought that the kind of the color palette was interesting, and the fact that I was watching this movie and it was giving me a feeling.
This is the first time that Davey Joe has ever talked about the color palette of anything.
Absolutely.
You know what it is that this movie, it was giving me a feeling, and I figured it out when it was over. This movie is a newspaper. Just got a lot of grays, a lot of text. There's nothing flashy. It's not cinematic really, it worked in its favor. So I thought it was just kind of a genius.
I'm going to disagree with that statement about it not being cinematic, but that's. But I'll save it. I'll save it for later. J Money, do you have a rebuttal on this?
I also really like Spotlight, but it's not on my list. So I guess I liked it a little bit less. Is what I would say.
Okay. J Money, let's use this opportunity to catch up, and you tell me your number 6. And damn it, the scrolling is a pain in the ass. So the problem is we've got what 500 photos to scroll through.
So many to go through.
J Money, so tell me, and hopefully it's in the early part of the alphabet.
Unfortunately, it's not. My number 6 is Sicario. So all the way down to the S is JP.
All right. Oh, I'm almost there.
Sicario, directed by another director that came up this past year for us as well, Denis Villeneuve. And as I mentioned early in the broadcast, I look at movies that are brooding and sort of dark and sort of dystopic, and I tend to gravitate towards them. And this one does that in a lot of ways, and it does that in a very satisfying way. Probably my second favorite action film of the year, for that matter, but just also engrossingly sort of dangerous and dark, and I love the cinematography, and there are so many things about this movie that I'm on board with.
And we might talk about the cinematography more in the Oscar special because it is nominated, and that is one of the categories that we're going to be discussing. So yeah, I just want to say, for my part of it, I have a very complicated relationship with Sicario. It did not make my top 10, but it was definitely in that conversation, in one of those, and it might have had that 10 spot for a time. Again, that 10 spot was highly debated for me, whereas I felt really good about the first 9, and movies that I really liked, but is it enough? And Sicario, I think the difference was the cerebral engagement versus the emotional engagement. The romance of Carol, I think, put that over the top. But Prisoners was my number 1 movie of 2013, so I'm a big fan of this director. We talked about Enemy on the show, episode 16.2, so check that out. Yeah. And Sicario is going to come up again tonight, I'm sure, at some point. Go ahead, David Joe. You have anything?
Yeah, it's one that I struggled with. I love the movie, and I I wanted to get it on this list. It just didn't make the cut, but it's a great movie.
Yeah. It's a very good movie, and Davey Joe talked about it as well in a previous episode at one of the sound offs. All right, so I'm going to do my number 6. I think we're on 6, yeah. Late entrance for me on this list. It threw everything into out of whack for me because I had my list, and then I saw this movie late in the game. It was the last of the Oscar nominees for me to see. It's the only entrant on my top 10 that I did not see in the theater. And I almost didn't want to like it. When I see these movies that late, I feel like I've heard so much about them that I'm not as engaged or interested. But like you're expecting too much, and that wasn't the case here. I mean, like another one that won me over. It's everything you want a sci-fi movie to be. I think it's inventive but steeped in science, real-world sociological implications. It's very hypnotically engaging with a standout performance by Oscar Isaac. So where are you guys on Ex Machina? Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to wait?
I'll talk about it. I thought it was fantastic. Just like Sicario, it was on the list. I just couldn't keep it on there. It was too tough.
What bumped it off?
Originally I had it. I started it at 7, and the last 3 kind of came up when I was making the list. I had it there, and I couldn't keep it. But it's a great movie, and it was the first movie this year that I loved.
Yeah, you talked about it early on in the show. J Money, anything?
Oh, I love it too.
Okay. And that's that, everybody. Moving on to number 5. We are still 1 minute behind, so at least we're consistent. Davey Joe.
Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk. Available for free, and it is in the early part of the alphabet, so that might help.
I thought you'd like that. No.
Did you do your list just now so you can?
I just to help you out. That's Ex Machina was actually no. Anyway, Bone Tomahawk. You know what it is? This movie it's just a lot of different things. It's a western. It's a horror movie. It's a drama. It does all these things without being a mess, and I thought that was really kind of interesting. And the horror elements of this movie are pretty chilling. I mean, and they're not. It's not primarily a horror movie, but it really sticks with you. I thought it was some pretty gruesome stuff.
You did make me watch this one because it was free on Amazon, so I did see it. There's some things I like about it that we'll come to later. I think the script is really, really strong. In particular, the dialogue. I did think that it was unnecessarily gory, and I also think the actual direction was bad. Like, not bad. Bad's a strong word, but I feel like it was the in-scene, shot choices. And things like that, like the nitty-gritty of direction. I thought the performances weren't even. I think there's some stand-up performances, and I think there's some really weak performances, and that's what takes it out for me. Anything on for you, my man, J Money?
Yeah, it was actually on my short list as well. I think the reason it didn't finally make the cut is because ultimately I thought it just could have used about 30 minutes cut out of it. I just thought it needed to be just edited down a little bit more. I enjoyed it, but I thought it just didn't. It wasn't tight enough to make the list for me, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah, and so let's move on to your number 5.
My number 5?
Yeah.
My number 5 is Anomalisa. So right at the top there, JB. Now,
I had scrolled down anticipating.
I threw you off. Full disclosure, Anomalisa is actually a movie that I kickstarted. I helped kickstart them 3 or 4 years ago. It was the first thing I ever kickstarted.
Oh, then it's ineligible. It's got to be ineligible.
Why is it ineligible?
I'm joking.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. It could be. I mean, I want to be upfront about it. It's funny because
I'm totally teasing.
It wasn't a thing that they actually described. They had no idea what they were going to make. It was just the idea was that it was Charlie Kaufman doing a stop motion film, and I was like, yes, here, take my money. I want to see what happens. Totally forgot that it happened at all until about 3 months ago, when it basically was released for the film circuit, and they sent everyone an email and said, come see our private viewing in New York. Went to see it. I love anything that Charlie Kaufman touches. It's not a great film, but it's still a very engaging, very interesting, wonderfully kind of creative film. So, number 5 for me.
Yeah, it came up. It came up a lot last night in our roundtable. It was somebody else's #1 favorite film of the year. So, it was heavily discussed and dissected. I think. When Charlie Kaufman directs, like, it doesn't have the same emotional impact to me. Like, I feel like, like another director takes his ideas and makes them, more palatable, and sometimes some of the ideas or allegories or symbolism gets a little heavy-handed for me for Anomalisa. I was intrigued, interested, but didn't love it. Davey Joe?
This is another one that it was on the short list, but let me tell you, the experience in the theater is one that I will absolutely never forget. I have not been that uncomfortable in a theater.
This had one of the craziest sex scenes in
absolutely.
I was thinking it was one of the most realistic sex scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. All the above. Great time at the theater. I hope, hopefully they'll bring it back. So anyone who missed it the first time around can check that out.
Well, you guys should watch it just to see my name in the crack.
It's a hard nut to crack. It's easier to watch than Schenectady for me, but it's still, like, I love so many of these other movies too much to really to really give that some credit. I'm gonna move on to my #5. You guys good?
Yep.
Yeah.
J Money hasn't seen this. I don't know where Davey Joe is in this, and he might criticize me, but again, talk about a lot of fun having in a theater. I'm in the Creed camp on #5. And as a matter of fact, I haven't seen a movie twice in the theater in forever. And this is and I did see this one, although the second time was free because we just walked in after seeing Roman Holiday. But it hit all the notes I wanted it to. Like, it really did. Fun, exciting, emotional, and with the single best shot in any movie this year, I think. And I guess J Money wouldn't know this. Do you know what I'm talking about, Davey Joe? Single best.
Are you talking about the fight, the single shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are 100% correct about that.
That was something really special. And when I talked about Birdman a lot, I criticized the single shot because it felt like it felt like gimmicky. Here, it was motivated by the fight, and it doesn't call attention to itself. Like, I feel like you don't notice it's all one shot until maybe halfway through. You're like, holy cow, they have not cut yet. So that is that. Davey Joe, I need you to talk about this for 30 seconds.
Well, the problem with me, I'm going to have to talk about it again later on. So.
You want me to talk about it? I can talk about it.
Yeah, talk about what you think it's going to be like.
Well, you're going to have to talk about it with J Money's not on camera, so.
I can just make the sounds and he can mouth the words. That fight scene was amazing, though, right?
All right, I'll talk about it.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
We are 3 minutes late now, so doing the best we can. #4, we're cracking them down here. Busting through. J Money, you're first.
#4, Ex Machina, so we can cut some time on that one. So,
all right, so I don't need to get the phones back. Do you want me to say why?
I just will say, it's a movie that actually has very similar concepts to a lot of things we've seen. It has a very familiar subject matter, and yet it was still very unique. It was still compelling to watch. It was a fascinating experience, and I really loved it quite a bit.
We had a crossover, J Money. Do you believe that?
It happens once in a while.
Wow.
So that's kind of exciting. All right, Davey, Joe, why don't you give me your #4?
My #4 is Tangerine. Tangerine.
You motherfucker.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Anyway, this is the only movie I saw twice this year. It's because it's on Netflix. But I just love this movie. I thought again I don't want to.
Why?
The color palette thing again. I just like the way the movie looks. The way that Los Angeles looks in this movie, I think is pretty. It struck me as being kind of unique, and Maya Taylor's performance was fantastic, and this movie makes me laugh a lot. So for me to get a comment in the top 10, oh, it's really you didn't think this was funny?
No, I think this is another one of those gimmicky movies that, no, I don't think it's funny at all. I think it's exploitive, and I think it's shallow.
All right, well, I liked it anyway.
J Money, do you have thoughts on it?
Yeah, I agree with Davey Joe. Sorry.
Oh, you like it a lot, huh?
Yeah, I did. It didn't make my list, but I considered it on the short list. You know, I think it's trying to do a lot. It's a very ambitious movie. I really appreciated what it was trying to do. Certainly, didn't always work, but I really enjoyed the ride while it did.
Now, I mean, as I'm scrolling here, do you? I forgot I was next. Do you guys like what? I mean, like, can you explain what you found funny about it?
You know, the scene that sticks in my head is the one in the motel where he's like, "You want me to call the cops?" I don't want to give the punchline on the air here, but I just thought it was.
The characters are largely.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. Is it just that you're not used to seeing? I mean, this is my neighborhood that it's shot in. Like, this is like around the corner, literally. So, I mean, is it just that you? I mean, like, is it the transgender people or that you're not used to seeing?
No, I mean, no. I lived in New York City also. I mean, I'm not sheltered. I just think that I thought that these characters were really funny, and you know.
But they weren't three-dimensional, and you know, and it's also very slight to be on like this high on your list.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I thought that this just had a very unique look to me, and something that it really struck.
Because it was shot on an iPhone.
Yeah,
I don't think that's fair. And I also think that Mara's character is definitely not two-dimensional. I think there's definitely dimensionality to the characters. There are some very caricaturesque characters in this, certainly, but not everyone is two-dimensional.
Yeah. I'll give you the one. I don't remember her name, but I think we're talking about the same one. All right, I'm gonna move on, guys. Are you cool?
Yeah.
I mean, you're angry with me, but
no, go ahead.
So another crossover though for Davey Joe and I. Button didn't go. There it is.
Tangerine.
Yeah. I'm with Spotlight. What David? What'd you say, J Money?
Tangerine.
So this is another one of those 70s, and you know, like we've been talking a lot about how the 70s seem to, like, you know, between Star Wars and Creed and Mad Max, the 70s seem to be popping up, and this is sort of recalls All the President's Men as well. Came out same year as Rocky. It's exciting, not like in a Man of Uncle, Mad Max kind of way, but more in a cerebral kind of way. I feel like the screenplay is the real hero here. Managed to boil all that information into a narrative that is very serviceable. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when it comes to our 1990 review. And it's the true meaning of a great ensemble. Like, I think that is not doesn't get. I mean, it won the ensemble award at the SAG, but Tom. Last night this came up in our roundtable that people said this wasn't a well-directed movie. You know, it didn't have cinematic. You actually said it wasn't cinematic, Davey Joe.
Yeah, but I thought everything about this was intentional, though. I mean, it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's part of it too, and I think the issue is, I mean, we talk sometimes about how great direction is when all the performances are in sync with one another, and I think that's where this movie comes in. So. Davey Joe, did you not see it? Not Davey Joe. You did. You on your list. J Money, did you not see it?
No, I saw it. I also like it quite a bit.
Okay. Moving on. Number 3, Davey, you're going to be first. So let me cut to you in 2, 3, 1, and go ahead.
The Revenant. The Revenant is my number 3. I thought that the two big performances, obviously Tom Hardy and Leo, were a lot of fun. I thought that DiCaprio. Going into this, I thought doing the language, the Native American language was gonna really come off terribly, but I liked it. And the bear. What can I say? I have not seen anything like that. So that was a new experience, and just the scope of this film really I was taken by. I thought that the cinematography, the battle scene, I think is reminiscent of the one towards the beginning is really reminiscent of Saving Private Ryan. At least it's in that ballpark for me.
Okay. I mean, like it may surprise you to know that I actually did not hate The Revenant. I've been very anti-Iñárritu's almost every one of his films up until now. On New Year's Day, if we did this list, this was number 6 on New Year's Day. Okay. But the more movies I saw, the more it got bumped down. And what really bumps down is like ultimate, like it's impressive cinematically, but it's also cold. Like, and I don't mean temperature. I mean, like, it lacks emotional intrigue or depth for me. You know, and so so I mean, like, it's probably hanging around there at 11, 12, 13 in that area. So I mean, I admire the movie, and for the first time in his career, I feel like his single shots, he didn't do it throughout the whole film, but when he did do it, it was served by the narrative. It was served, you know, to show the off-screen space. I really thought finally the tools that he'd been building over the course of his career were paying off. So I like that about it. J Money.
I enjoyed it. It falls into a range of films I saw this year in general that I would call overall good films, but just didn't rise to the top for me for whatever reasons. I really wanted to like it more actually than I ended up liking it.
Yeah.
But I did like it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm sort of in the same camp, strangely enough. But it came up last night, not by me. I did not opine last night. I was just moderating at the table, but it was in the discussion of the most overrated films of the year. So anyway, oh shit, I did something too soon. I was all ready to jump to number 3, but you guys to number 2, but you guys have not done your. We're on number 3, aren't we?
I haven't done my number 3.
Yeah, J Money 3.
Yeah, no, yeah, sorry. I pulled up the numbers again instead of another picture. So J Money, go ahead.
Okay, my number 3 is 45 Years, which
which is right at the top of my queue here.
Is that there you go? Really easy to go. It's a movie that caught me by surprise. I really did not go into it thinking I was going to be as impressed by it as I was. And again, I think ultimately it's the performances that probably made it stick out to me. It's just staggering in its subtlety and devastatingly bleak and perfectly depressing in a certain way. And it kind of catches you off guard in the way that it sort of plays out and slowly burns into a much more, I don't know, almost, I don't want to say depressing, but just ultimately a much more bleak sort of attitude about these people's lives and how they've collided. So ultimately it just ended up rising to the top for me.
Yeah, it's a movie I like, and it's very performance-driven, which is it's in many ways my kind of movie. It does so happen there was a lot of movies. I mean, I think, you know, like, I liked slow burn generally. They might have taken that to an extreme. And I gotta think this is one of, you know, on the Davy Joe scale, it's on the brutal side for him. Davy Joe, I mean, I like the movie.
I like it too. I like it too.
Oh, you do?
I do like it. I particularly like the ending, which I thought served the movie very well.
Yes,
okay.
The ending hit it differently. I don't think it would have ended up in this list the same way.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, so all right. I'm gonna move on to my number 3 since we're pretty far behind now. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right. So this is a documentary on the list here, and there is actually several documentaries, including Amy, that were sort of similar in the this idea of found footage, but this and another one were actually found audio. This is a documentary called "Listen to Me, Marlin," and I think I mentioned it once before in the show. It's expertly made and inventive. Obviously, it's right up my alley, but it really gives you insight into the man and also the seeds of his potential madness. The documentary doesn't take sides or make judgments, which is something I feel very strongly about documentaries. And the other similar documentary, aside from Amy, that used this idea of found audio and put images over it was Hitchcock Truffaut, which Davey had given out some eligibility requirements that I'm not sure that Hitchcock Truffaut met. So I didn't feel okay putting it in the top 10, although Hitchcock Truffaut is like catnip to me. But
it would have worked. It would have worked.
Well, I decided to go with Listen to Me, Marlin. I mean, talk about great movie experiences and something that, feeds me in such a big way, like, and, as a film buff, etc. So I'm a big fan. I don't know if you guys, David Joe, you probably wouldn't have had a chance to see it in Charlotte, huh?
I did see it.
You did?
Yes.
What'd you think?
And, it's another one that I feel like I need to see again. Not because I didn't like it. I did like it, but it's unlike any documentary I've seen in that it's.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a frame for it. I need to see it again.
Can't wrap your head around it.
Yeah. But it definitely it was mesmerizing.
J Money.
I didn't get a chance to see it. I actually downloaded it. I really wanted to see it. I just ran out of time. It just didn't, I didn't get a chance to watch everything I wanted to watch. But it sounds very intriguing.
I hear you. All right, let's move on to number 2. We are 5 minutes behind. Ruh-roh. All right, J Money, you get to go first.
All right, my number 2 is a movie called Hard to Be God. It's a German movie, or a Russian movie, by Alexei German. It's the last movie that Alexei German did. I'll just go very quickly. It's a movie that the concept is basically that scientists here in this country, in this world, find another world that has a very similar, background to Earth, but people there are actually in medieval times, and they go to that world to sort of monitor and observe them. That actually has almost nothing to do with the movie itself. I mean, that's the basic idea of the movie, but it doesn't come through at all. The reason this movie is great is because it's just incredibly claustrophobic, incredibly visceral, incredibly well shot, and it's a really transformative kind of movie for you. It's a very transcendental movie. Go.
Damn it! I didn't get the picture up in time for you to stop talking. I can show you this, however.
Ooh.
My prediction of what you would be your number 1 movie.
You were close. You're very close.
Wow.
I was pretty close.
Wow.
So there you go. I did not see it. Well, I mean, like, I learned about it just a few days ago when you said, hey, this isn't on your list of 140 films, and I was like, shit! And I looked up to make sure it was eligible, and I guess it was barely eligible.
Barely eligible.
January.
And I was like, okay, and then it was downloadable, and I was like, I have like 10 movies to watch and 6 slots to watch them in, and this was 3 hours.
This is long, yeah.
It's 3 hours. It's a really hard watch. I'm gonna be honest, and I really doubt you would like it at all. But I like
3-hour movies.
No, I just think it's the kind of movie that you're just not gonna connect with. I don't think it's gonna have the emotional connection you're looking for in movies.
Davey Joe, have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I liked it. But boy, it's a challenge,
right?
It's tough. It is.
Yeah, it is a hard movie. But I mean, I was thrilled. I was thrilled the entire time I was watching. I couldn't look away. That's the thing.
I've never seen anything like this. Nothing.
Yeah. Davey Joe, let's do your number 2, my man.
Okay, Mad Max: Fury Road. I'm gonna kind of echo a lot of the things that I said when we did this movie. I thought the action was incredible, and I thought that this movie really did storytelling through action in a way that I have not seen before. So I know it's not your favorite, but I liked it a lot, and it's my number 2.
And we did talk about it in episode 10, if you want to check that out, from back in May. Basically, and two of the people that were here last night, it was their number 1 movie. It is something that for me, I feel like it's like a good donut. It's tastes good, but it's empty calories. Obviously a lot of things are technically proficient about it, but it I felt like any sort of attempt to make social commentary with it was forced, ultimately hollow. I think it should win an Oscar for stunt choreography. It did win a SAG award for that. There's no category for that, but there should be, and it should have won it. But it other than that, I didn't enjoy the film. And the more popular film like that gets, I'm like, what are you watching? What are you seeing? Because to me, it's like Birdman, style or substance. But I will say that that is what I got here for Davey, as what I thought would be number 1. So I was close again.
Close.
Wrong, but I got both your number 2s. So that's kind of. Do I get like a special credit for that, or?
Yeah. Well, let's see if you can pick our number 1s.
What's that?
Let's see if you can pick our number 1s.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I can at this point. I can say that I feel like there's a movie that I saw that seems like such your kind of movie, and I'm hoping it's your number 1, but I doubt you got a chance to see it. But we'll see. Like it's a movie that I enjoyed, but I didn't feel comfortable putting it in my top 10. And we can talk about that maybe another time or an indie spotlight or something. But I'm hoping that it is your thing. So all right. So it's time for my number 2, and here's where I'm going. So this is The Big Short, and this is exact. I mean, like, I'm a big fan of Michael Lewis. I did not read this particular book. I don't care about finance, but this movie made me care about finance. It's exactly how I would have approached Michael Lewis's book previous books, Moneyball and the Blind Side, the structure and the style of the film, and a great example of style being informed by the substance and working in cohesion. It's a film with a lot of information and vitality. It's fascinating, intelligent, fun, and kind of horrifying. Adam McKay's direction is outstanding, precise, measured, delicate balance of comedy and drama. A lot of great things. Throughout the movie, I kept on saying, yes, yes, yes. That is, that is the choice I would have made there. So I was, that element of the experience was kind of cool. So I need you guys 30 seconds to talk about The Big Short if you can.
The Big Short, I liked this movie a lot. It didn't make my list. I think the movie is it's really educational, and I think there's a lot of things that if you kind of knew them already, maybe it's a little more tedious. But I can't really complain.
J Money.
I think of all the Best Picture nominees, that's the one that most likely could have ended up on my list. It didn't quite make the cut in the end, but I also really enjoyed it.
But Mad Max is the Best Picture nominee.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. So beyond Mad Max, besides Mad Max.
Other than that one.
All right, guys, the time has come. I wanted to have more time to wrap things up, but we might not have time to talk about our worst films of the year, maybe. So, let's focus on our number ones, and I'm going to let Davie go first. Wait, Davie, wait till I get the thing up. And not yet, not yet.
So close.
Not yet. Stand by, wait for it, fuck. All right, just go.
It's Creed. Creed is my number one film of the year.
Yeah.
And that's the one that J Money didn't see.
I know, it kind of breaks my heart, actually.
Mine too.
This goes to what you said to start off the show. Emotional engagement, and I shook during this movie. During one of the fight scenes, the woman to the front and to the right jumped in the air and yelled. I mean, like, this thing just, I have not had an experience like that, and I don't know if I've ever had an experience like that. And I thought the performances were great. Stallone, of course, is getting all the press, and he deserves every bit of it. But it's more than just that. There's a lot there. The fight, the one shot, again, like nothing I've ever seen before. And this film hits me on a gut level. It's I think perfect. So it's my movie of the year.
Obviously, I admire the film a great deal.
I would have seen it. I downloaded a copy of it, and it turned out that it was a Spanish copy. It didn't have subtitles, so I was like, and I just didn't get the copy.
So yeah, I do want to talk more about Stallone in the next segment in the Oscar preview, but in the meantime, let's have J Money give me his number one.
Okay, my number one is the Forbidden Room. F. The Forbidden Room. Was that what you were thinking, JP? Probably not.
No, and I was hoping this wouldn't be it, but this is a movie I saw the preview at Film Forum.
Definitely not your movie. Absolutely.
And I was like, I am never ever going to watch that movie.
Yeah,
like,
definitely not movie. I found it wonderfully entrancing. I loved it every second of it. It's a really funny movie, surprisingly. It's a very transcendental experience again in a theater. It's very pro-filmic in a lot of ways that are fascinating visually to watch. There is actually some narrative to it. There is actually some storyline to it. It's about nesting stories within those stories. But ultimately, it's just a fun experience and a really visually fascinating film. And I don't know. For me, my 1 and 2 were very clear-cut for me when I saw them. Those were definitely my 1 and 2. And I have no regrets about that, certainly.
Yeah, for me, my it was like 1 and 1A. Davie, Joe, Forbidden Room?
I can't believe you guys found movies I didn't see, but there it is.
Well, it's on Netflix.
Oh, on Netflix right now. Oh my God! All right, I'll get to it.
It's again.
Are you sure you want to do that?
It'll be a lot more entertaining if I hate it. So we'll see.
Why do you say that?
Because I'll get into him during a sound off at some point.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm not surprised. Maybe when we're off camera at some point, I'll tell you the movie that I hoped you had seen, because it seems like you're kind of, or maybe we'll just wait till a future in spotlight.
I'm really curious now. You've sold it so much. You got to tell me.
Tell you right now?
Yeah, tell him. Let's do it.
Either way.
The movie that I just could not, for the life of me, bring to my top 10 list, but I mean, like, it seemed like J Money's kind of movie, is a movie called The Pigeon That Sat on a Branch at Rest and Contemplated Existence.
I didn't get a chance to see that, so I'll look for it.
You'll like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, like, I was hoping that would be your number one, but I didn't think you had seen it. So you guys are not going to like my number one. It's something that's right up my alley. The people last night, most people did not like it, and some people actually think it's a bad movie. I love it, and there was another person there that was their number 5 movie. I think it's outstanding. I've got Trumbo as my favorite movie of the year. It doesn't hurt that I've been obsessed with The Blacklist since a young lad. I actually did reports on it. Guilty by Suspicion was my favorite movie of 1991, back when I was made that list as a young lad. I think it's a layered drama with outstanding performances across the board, complicated, flawed hero, and it doesn't fall into the trap to a lot of biopics that cover too much ground. It's focused, but in addition to the surface, it's also about the artistic process and the search for legacy and immortality and fathers and daughters. I think it's a great combination of humor, gravitas, and emotional depth. So we don't have a lot of time to go into it, but guys, I imagine you're not fans.
Why would you say that?
Most people are not. What's that?
I like the movie a lot, and I think that a lot of the criticism I've heard of this film is absurd, and we can get into that on a spotlight sometime too if you want, because I like this movie quite a bit.
Yeah. J Money.
I liked it too, actually. So it was it's a movie to me that was good. It just didn't quite make the list for me. I guess honestly, it probably wasn't in the running for the list, but it was a movie that I liked. It was a movie that I think is good.
So in my haste, beer just spilled everywhere.
No.
Oh no.
That's a special night, right?
That's going to make the rest of the evening crazy. But all right, so that's it. We got to move on. So I'm going to close this now in about 3 minutes, give or take. We're going to start our Oscar preview, and hopefully we'll catch up some time. I'll talk to you guys very soon. All right, that's our top 10s. You've been waiting for a long time. You got them. Now let's see. Now we're going to break down the category specifically. See you in about 3 minutes, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Bye.
Bye.